The Lord's Prayer, the forbidden code that reprograms your reality, used by secret societies. Ignorance is costly, the power, dormant in the words. You repeat, does your life feel stuck? Cycles repeat themselves, dreams fail to materialize, and a persistent sense of disconnection haunts you no matter how hard you try. What if I told you that the answer, or at least a fundamental key to unlocking your potential, may be hidden in the words you may repeat every day, almost without thinking? The Lord's Prayer. For countless generations, billions of people have chanted this sequence, believing it to be a simple prayer, a humble request to an external force. But that is only the surface layer, the esoteric version fed to the masses. Beneath this apparent simplicity, there pulsates a spiritual technology of unimaginable power, a reality programming script bequeathed by ancient wisdoms that understood the fundamental laws of the universe in a way that our modern science is only beginning to glimpse. You have been repeating a cosmic activation code as if it were a shopping list for the divine, and perhaps that is why the portals remain closed. Ignorance, in this case, is not a blessing. It is the maintenance of your own limitation. Forget everything you were taught in catechisms or Sunday sermons. That was a simplification, perhaps even an intentional distortion, to keep true power out of common reach. The great initiates, the masters of the Egyptian mystery schools, the Gnostics who were persecuted for knowing too much, the Vedic sages, the true alchemists of consciousness, they all recognized in certain sound sequences, in certain patterns of sacred language, the ability to interact directly with the energetic matrix that underlies our perceived reality. The Lord's Prayer, especially in its Aramaic and Hebrew roots, is not a passive request. It is a set of vibrational instructions, a series of quantum commands designed to recalibrate your personal energy field, align your vibrational signature with higher frequencies, and rewrite the subconscious patterns that dictate your life experience. Have you ever wondered why certain phrases of this prayer give you an inexplicable chill? Why is it that, in moments of deep concentration, the words seem to take on a life of their own, vibrating not just in your throat, but in every cell of your body? This is your energy system recognizing fragments of the original code, responding to the frequency embedded in the very sound structure of the words. We are talking about a lost heritage, a tool so powerful that its full meaning has been veiled, fragmented, transformed into harmless dogma. But energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. And the code remains latent, waiting to be activated with the right intention and the right understanding. In this deep dive that we will do together here on the Gaia Ascension Channel, we will dissect this sacred sequence, not as theology, but as applied spiritual physics. We will explore how each line works as a specific command for your quantum biocomputer, you. You will no longer pray the Lord's Prayer. You will learn to execute it. Together, we will discover how these words can act to clear energetic blockages, activate dormant potentials in your subtle DNA, tune in to the flow of universal abundance, and create a protective shield against dissonant influences. Brace yourself, because we're not talking about blind faith here. We're talking about consciousness technology, an ancient science rediscovered. Think about it. Ancient cultures all over the planet used mantras, chants, and invocations to influence the weather, cure illnesses, manifest resources, and even communicate with other dimensions. Is the Lord's Prayer the Western version of this same technology, adapted and encoded in a unique way? Consider the very structure of prayer. It begins by establishing a connection with Source, our Father who art in heaven, acknowledges the holiness or specific frequency of that source, hallowed be thy name, invokes the manifestation of that frequency on the earthly plane, thy kingdom come, aligns personal will with the higher will, thy will be done, accesses universal substance, our daily bread, releases energetic blockages through forgiveness, establishes protection, and finally acknowledges the inherent power. This doesn't sound like a request. It sounds like an alignment and manifestation protocol. Now let us begin to decode the first instruction, the ignition key of this quantum engine. Our Father who art in heaven. Forget the image of a bearded old man sitting on a cloud. Our Father, or Abba in Aramaic, which has a much more intimate connotation, almost like dad but also linked to the primordial source, the unmanifest origin, is the recognition of your own divine origin, of your intrinsic connection with the one consciousness that permeates everything. It is not something external, it is your own primordial essence. And who art in heaven? The heavens here are not some distant geographical place. In ancient esoteric language, heavens, shamayim in Hebrew, which is plural, refers to the highest vibrational dimensions, the planes of existence, where possibilities are pure, before they condense into the dense matter that we perceive. So, by speaking this first sentence with conscious intent, you are doing two monumental things. First, you are activating the recognition of your own divine nature, your identity as a spark of the Creator Source. Second, you are directing your consciousness to the fields of pure potential, the higher dimensions where all realities coexist as vibrational possibilities. You are saying, I acknowledge my origin in the one source and direct my attention to the realms of infinite potential. This is the first attunement, the act of plugging your personal terminal into the cosmic web. Feel it now. Take a deep breath and think of these words not as a plea, but as an affirmation of identity and a direction of energetic focus. The energy is already starting to move differently within you, isn't it? This is just the first step. What happens when you sanctify this connection? That's what we'll uncover next, and the answer may be the key to purifying your own energetic signature. Sanctifying the frequency and invoking the inner kingdom. In the first step, we establish the primordial connection. We recognize our divine spark, our Father, and direct our consciousness to the field of infinite possibilities. Who art in heaven? But simply connecting is not enough. It is like plugging a sophisticated device into an outlet with the wrong voltage or full of noise. The energy may flow, but in an unstable, ineffective, perhaps even harmful way. This is where the second quantum command of this ancient technology comes in. Hallowed be thy name. Once again, we need to demolish the dogmatic interpretations that have been given to us. Sanctifying here has nothing to do with blind worship or with making something sacred by decree. In the vibrational language of the mystery schools, sanctifying means purifying, harmonizing, raising the frequency of something to its optimal state, its original and perfect pattern. And what is the name? In Kabbalah, Hermeticism, and Vedic traditions, the name of something, especially the name of source, or an aspect of the divine, is not a mere label. It is the specific vibrational signature, the sound formula that encapsulates the essence and power of that thing. Think of the power attributed to certain mantras, to Om, or to the 72 names of God in Kabbalah. The name is the frequency itself in action. Therefore, when you execute the command, hallowed be thy name, you are actually performing a powerful energetic cleansing and harmonizing. You are saying to the universe and to your own system, may the connection I have established with Source, the name, the vibration of Source, be purified of all distortions, all low frequencies, all static noise accumulated by my own mind, my disharmonious emotions, and the influences of the collective unconscious. May this connection resonate at its original, pure, and crystal clear frequency. This is an act of vibrational calibration. You are clearing the channel so that source energy can flow through you without interference. Many people feel a sudden warmth, lightness, or clarity of mind when focusing on this phrase with intention, because it acts like an energetic tuning fork, inviting all of your cells and your auric field to resonate with the primordial harmony. This is why the Essenes, known for their purification practices, placed such emphasis on this part of the sequence. They knew that without this step of sanctification or purification of the frequency, any further attempts at manifestation or alignment would be contaminated by dissonant energies. Now, with the channel established, our Father in heaven, and purified, hallowed be thy name, we are ready for the next monumental step. Active invocation. We have reached thy kingdom come. And herein lies one of the greatest misunderstandings of the entire prayer. Most interpret this as a request for a future divine kingdom to descend upon earth, or perhaps as a hope for life after death. But the Gnostics and Hermetic masters laughed at such literal interpretations. They knew that the kingdom, Malkuth on the Kabbalistic tree of life, or the inner kingdom of heaven mentioned in apocryphal texts such as the Gospel of Thomas, is not an external physical place, but a state of consciousness, a vibrational reality that exists here and now, within us and all around us, although usually invisible to our limited senses. The kingdom is the reality where the divine will, harmony, abundance, and creative power of Source manifests without distortion. It is the original frequency of Eden, before the fall into density and separation. So, thy kingdom come is not a passive request. It is a vibrational order, a command for this higher frequency, this harmonious state of consciousness, to manifest and anchor itself in your personal and immediate reality. You are saying, I now actively call forth the frequency of the kingdom, harmony, abundance, peace, creative power, to manifest in and through me, here and now, on this plane of existence. It is an act of bringing the heavens, the higher vibrational possibilities, down to the earth, your manifested experience. You are claiming your divine right to experience the reality of the kingdom in your own life. The alchemists saw this phrase as the beginning of the rubido phase, the manifestation of spiritual gold, the union of the divine and the human. They did not ask for the kingdom. They built it within themselves through the transmutation of their own consciousness, and this phrase was the ignition key for that process. This is why in some ancient texts, this invocation was considered dangerous if done without proper preparation, the connection and purification of the previous phrases, because invoking such a high frequency without being aligned could cause an energetic short circuit. But when done correctly, this is where the magic of conscious manifestation really begins to happen. You are opening the floodgates for the reality of the kingdom to flow into your life. Think about how these first 3 lines form a flawlessly logical sequence of energetic activation, connecting with source and potential. Our Father who art in heaven, plugging into the cosmic grid, purifying and harmonizing the connection. Hallowed be thy name, clearing the channel and calibrating the frequency, actively invoking the manifestation of higher reality. Thy kingdom come, downloading the new reality. Do you see how this completely transforms prayer from an act of supplication to a consciousness engineering protocol? Every word, every phrase has a precise technical purpose within this process. We are just beginning to scratch the surface of the power contained here. What happens when you align your personal will with this greater will that you have just invoked? The answer lies in the next line, thy will be done. And it contains a paradox that is the key to unlocking levels of personal power that few even imagine exist. Before we unveil the explosive secret behind thy will be done, I want to propose something to you, our community here on the Gaia Ascension Channel. Close your eyes for a moment and say just the second line. Hallowed be thy name. Feel the vibration. What do you notice? Is it a cleansing sensation? A specific vibration in a certain part of your body? A change in the energy of the environment? Share here in the comments the most striking sensation that this phrase awakened in you right now. Let's map together the energetic responses to this quantum command. And if you are feeling that this knowledge resonates deeply with your search for awakening and empowerment, if you want to continue decoding these ancestral technologies with us, then be part of this tribe of consciousness explorers. Click the subscribe button and activate the bell so you don't miss the next keys that we will reveal. Your reality programming journey begins now. The paradox of will and the quantum secret of daily bread. We have now reached a crucial point, perhaps the most misunderstood and paradoxically the most powerful command within this quantum script that is the Lord's Prayer. Thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. To the mind conditioned by the dogma of separation and powerlessness, this phrase sounds like passive submission, resignation, almost like defeat. Let what God wills be done. I have no control. Nothing could be further from the operational truth of this technology. The masters of perennial wisdom knew that this line is not about giving away your power, but about aligning your personal power with the intelligent and omnipotent flow of the universe. Herein lies the great paradox. By surrendering your limited egoic will, the one filled with fears, doubts, lack-based desires and short-term visions, you open yourself up to become a channel for the greater will, the cosmic intelligence that orchestrates the symphony of creation. And it is through this alignment that true creative power, unlimited and effortless, begins to flow through you. Think of electricity. You can try to generate a spark with your own limited means, or you can connect correctly to the power plant and channel immense power. Thy will be done is the act of connecting to the cosmic power plant. You are saying, I recognize that my limited vision may be blocking the flow of the perfect solution and highest manifestation. Therefore, I choose to align my personal intention with the higher purpose, with the all-knowing and all-seeing intelligence. I open myself to being a conscious co-creator, allowing the universal will, which is always toward expansion, harmony, and the highest good, to express itself through me. This is not passivity. It is strategic wisdom. It is recognizing that there is a much higher intelligence at play and choosing to dance in harmony with it, rather than fighting against the current. The second part of the phrase, on earth as it is in heaven, reinforces this. It is the affirmation that this alignment is not just an abstract concept, in heaven on the higher planes, but that it must manifest concretely in your physical reality, in your daily life, on earth. You are commanding coherence between the planes. The Rosicrucians, heirs to ancient knowledge, practice deep meditations focused on this phrase, using the Latin fiat voluntas tua. They visualize this will not as something imposed from outside, but as a river of golden light flowing from the cosmos, passing through their hearts and manifesting itself in the world through their aligned actions and intentions. They understood that resistance to this greater will was the source of all suffering and limitation. By aligning themselves, they did not lose their individuality. On the contrary, they enhanced their ability to act in the world in an effective and meaningful way, because their actions began to be supported by the force of the universe itself. Paracelsus, the famous physician and alchemist, suggested that conscious repetition of this phrase was capable of dissolving karmic knots, limiting energy patterns inherited or created, because by aligning your will, you leave the frequency where these knots operate. You change vibrational band, and old problems simply cannot reach you anymore. It is a form of karmic reprogramming through conscious alignment, and it is only after this crucial alignment with the higher will that the script takes us to the next command, the one that deals directly with the substance of manifestation. Give us this day our daily bread. Again, the literal and superficial interpretation has led us to believe that we are only asking for food so as not to go hungry. It is an infantilized view of a profoundly quantum instruction. The Gnostics, in texts such as the Gospel of Philip and other esoteric traditions, knew that the bread mentioned here is a symbol for the universal primordial substance, the undifferentiated quantum energy from which everything in the universe is made. It is the prima materia of the alchemists, the akasha of the Hindus, the zero-point field of modern physics. It is the base energy of creation, the stuff with which consciousness shapes reality. Our daily bread means that this substance is not something external. It is our divine inheritance, part of our nature. Daily, or the Greek word epiousion, which is unique and of debated meaning and can mean either supersubstantial or necessary for existence, implies that we need to access and assimilate this energy continually in the present moment, today. So what are you really commanding here? You are saying, having aligned myself with the universal will, I now activate my power to attract and assimilate the primordial substance, the quantum energy necessary for my continued existence, sustenance, and manifestation here and now. You are claiming your access to the infinite reservoir of creative energy of the universe. This is not asking for a piece of physical bread. This is activating your ability to attract and shape the energy that creates all things, including physical sustenance, but going far beyond that. Health, relationships, opportunities, insights, everything you need for your journey. The Essenes, according to some accounts and interpretations of scrolls, had practices where they focused on this phrase to literally influence the energy field around them, creating fields of abundance. They did not see this as a miracle, but as the application of natural laws, the mastery over energetic substance through focused and aligned intention. They understood that consciousness is the force that directs the primordial energy to manifest in specific ways. This command then is the key to conscious and sustained manifestation, but it does not work in isolation. It depends crucially on prior alignment with the higher will. Attempting to access the universal substance from a misaligned egoic will, I want this for myself, even if it is not for the highest good, often results in blockages or distorted manifestations. But when you activate this command from a state of alignment, "Thy will be done," you become a clear channel for the universal substance to flow and manifest in your life in a harmonious and abundant way, meeting all your real needs in the present moment. It is a continuous process of receiving and assimilating the creative energy of the universe, day after day. The real hunger that this line seeks to satisfy is the soul's hunger for connection and creative expression through the primordial energy of existence, and what releases the blockages so that this bread can flow freely. This leads us directly to the next instruction, perhaps the most challenging but energetically crucial: forgiveness. Breaking quantum chains with forgiveness and activating the energetic shield. After aligning our will with the cosmic flow and activating our access to the primordial substance, the bread of life, the quantum script of the Lord's Prayer presents us with a condition, or rather, a fundamental energetic unlocking key so that this flow of creative energy is not obstructed. And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Here again, the superficial understanding has focused only on the moral or interpersonal aspect of forgiveness, but energetically, what is happening is much deeper and operates on a quantum level. The debts or offenses, depending on the translation, are not just moral or financial mistakes. In the context of spiritual physics, they represent energetic knots, quantum entanglements, vibrational blockages that we create and maintain through judgments, resentments, guilt, and hurts, both toward others and, perhaps most importantly, toward ourselves. These low-frequency energies act as barriers in our energy field, preventing the primal substance, the bread, from flowing freely and manifesting as abundance and well-being. Think of them like clogged pipes in your home's plumbing system. No matter how much water is available at the source, the universal reservoir of energy, if the pipes are blocked by debris, resentments, guilt, the flow will be minimal or non-existent at your faucet, your manifested reality. Forgiveness, in this technological context, is the quantum cleansing agent. It is the conscious act of dissolving these energetic knots, releasing the entanglements that bind us to frequencies of lack, conflict, and pain. The phrase is a two-way instruction, a principle of resonance. I activate the process of dissolving my own negative energetic crystallizations, forgive us our debts, to the same extent that I release the energies that bind others to me through my judgment and resentment, as we forgive our debtors. It is a universal law. You can only receive the release that you are willing to offer. By refusing to forgive, whether others or yourself, you actively maintain the energetic blockage in your own field. The masters of Kabbalah taught that the act of forgiveness benefits not only the forgiven, but mainly the one who forgives, because it releases an immense amount of vital energy that was being consumed to keep the frequency of hurt or judgment active. It is like closing heavy programs that were running in the background of your mental and energetic computer, freeing up resources for what really matters: conscious creation. When you execute this command of forgiveness with genuine intent, and this may require deep inner work, not just empty words, you are literally breaking quantum chains, undoing vibrational patterns that have kept you trapped in repetitive cycles of suffering and scarcity. The abundance of bread can only flow where there is free space, where the channels are clear. Conscious forgiveness creates that space. It is not about forgetting or agreeing with what happened, but about choosing to release the energetic charge associated with it, reclaiming your personal power that was invested in maintaining that knot. With the channels finally cleared by the powerful tool of forgiveness, the script moves on to the final instructions, which deal with safe navigation in the energy field and protection from dissonant influences, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Once again, we need to go beyond the moralistic interpretation of temptation as sin and evil as an external devilish figure. In the language of energy and consciousness, temptation refers to the entropic forces, the lower vibrational frequencies, fear, doubt, greed, ignorance, that constantly pull us away from our aligned center, away from the frequency of the kingdom we invoke. It is the distractions, the illusions, the attachments that cause us to forget our divine nature and our higher purpose. To fall into temptation is to succumb to these denser frequencies, to lose our alignment and our conscious connection with Source. The command, "Lead us not to fall," is not a request for God to hold us by the hand, but an instruction to our own higher self and to the universe, to alert us, guide us, and strengthen us, so that we can consciously choose not to be swayed by these influences. It is a call for discernment and inner strength, and deliver us from evil. Evil, poneros in Greek, which can mean evil, but also useless, painful, unhealthy, represents all the disharmonious, dissonant, and harmful energies and influences that can interfere with our energy field and our manifestation process. This includes not only negative intentions from others, but also toxic collective thought forms, electromagnetic pollution, negative ancestral patterns, and even the consequences of our own misaligned actions. The command, "Deliver us from evil," is, therefore, the activation of an energetic protective shield. It is a command for our auric field to be strengthened, sealed, and purified of any energies that are not in resonance with our highest frequency and the greater will. It is like activating a spiritual firewall. You are saying, "May my energy field be protected, and may I be diverted from any influence or path that leads me into disharmony, illness, or away from my divine purpose. May only energies aligned with the highest good permeate my being." The ancient Essenes and other initiatory schools had complex practices for creating shields of light, and this phrase can be seen as the verbalization, the central command to activate and maintain this protection on an ongoing basis. Together, these last two lines form a powerful mechanism for safe navigation and ongoing protection. Having connected, purified, invoked the kingdom, aligned the will, accessed the substance, and released the blockages, you now instruct the system to keep you on course, not to fall into temptation, and protected from interference, deliver us from evil. This is the guarantee that the work done in the previous steps will not be easily undone by external influences or by your own momentary weaknesses. It is the final seal of the protocol, and what happens when this complete protocol is executed, the final doxology, often added afterwards, "For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever," is not just a praise, but the final affirmation of the source of this entire process. It acknowledges that the kingdom invoked, the power activated, and the glory manifested are intrinsically part of the source from which we originated and with which we align. It is the final acknowledgement of oneness. Now you have the complete map, the decoded script. The Lord's Prayer revealed not as a passive prayer, but as an active protocol of consciousness engineering and reality programming, a spiritual technology that has been hidden in plain sight for millennia. The question now is, will you continue to simply repeat the words, or will you begin to execute the code? The code has been delivered. Your reality, your programming, your choice. The journey is complete. The veil has been torn. The Lord's Prayer, that string of words that echoes through the centuries, is no longer a set of syllables repeated on autopilot, a prayer perhaps forgotten once finished. Now before you, it reveals itself in its true nature, an operational manual for human consciousness, a detailed quantum script for interacting with the energetic matrix of reality, a spiritual technology bequeathed by those who understood the deepest laws of the universe, to connect with source and infinite potential, to purify and calibrate that connection, to actively invoke the frequency of the kingdom within, to align your personal will with the intelligent cosmic flow, to access the primordial substance of creation, to dissolve quantum blockages through the liberating power of forgiveness, and finally, to navigate safely and securely through the energies of the world. It is not a prayer of asking, it is a protocol of being and creating. This knowledge has always been here, encoded in plain sight, protected by its own apparent simplicity, waiting for human consciousness to evolve enough to begin to decipher it, not with the logical and literal mind, but with intuition, with energetic sensitivity, with quantum understanding. Perhaps now is the time. Perhaps you are ready to transcend mechanical repetition and begin the conscious execution of this powerful code. The difference between reciting empty words and activating quantum commands is the difference between living as a passive spectator of your life and assuming the position of conscious programmer of your reality. The choice, as always, lies solely with you. No one can do it for you. Not masters, not gurus, not external saviors. The power has always been there, embedded in your own consciousness and activated by tools like this, which you now understand on a deeper level. We are not suggesting that you abandon your faith or your beliefs. Quite the opposite. We are inviting you to deepen your connection in a much more conscious, active, and powerful way. Use this knowledge to transform your spiritual practice, whatever it may be. Try praying the Lord's Prayer with this new understanding. Feel the energy. Observe the synchronicities that begin to emerge in your life. Notice the subtle, and perhaps not so subtle, changes in your perception, in your emotional state, in your external circumstances. Don't believe us blindly. Test it, experiment, validate it for yourself. This is the path of the true seeker, of the spiritual scientist. Direct experimentation, verification through one's own experience. The results will be your greatest proof, much more convincing than any words spoken here. Remember, this is just one of the many codes, one of the many technologies of consciousness that have been bequeathed to humanity and that are being rediscovered in this time of great planetary awakening. Here at Gaia's Ascension Channel, our mission is to continue exploring these tools, decoding these mysteries, and sharing the knowledge that can help you unlock your full potential and co-create a higher reality for yourself and the collective. This journey of discovery is ongoing, and it is much richer when we walk together, sharing our experiences, insights, and mutual support. That's why we want to hear from you. What impacted you most in this decoding of the Lord's Prayer? Which command resonated most deeply in your soul? Have you had any inexplicable experiences while reciting this prayer in the past that perhaps make more sense now? Share your stories, insights, questions, and plans for experimentation here in the comments. Let's create a field of resonance here, a community of conscious programmers learning and growing together. Your experience is valuable and can inspire others on this journey. And if this content has expanded your mind, if it has ignited a spark of recognition within you, if you have felt the truth vibrating behind the words, then we would love for you to officially join our tribe on the Gaia Ascension Channel. It's not just about clicking a button, it's about declaring your intention to continue exploring, learning, and ascending. So if you're not already a member, join the channel. Now become a part of this community that is committed to unlocking the mysteries of existence and reclaiming our creative power. Each new member strengthens our collective energy field. Thank you so much for dedicating your time and energy to delve into this profound knowledge with us. True prayer does not end when words cease, but begins when consciousness awakens and action aligns with new understanding. May you use this code not only to transform your life, but to be a beacon of light and possibility in a world that so desperately needs kingdom-conscious coders. Until the next journey.